Today, I'm going to show how you can build a voice assistant that allows you to book meetings, reschedule, and even cancel them. Here's how a sample call with it would look like.
Hi, I'm JD. How can I help you today?
Hi, I would like to schedule a meeting for next Friday at 10 a.m.
Sure, next Friday is December 15th. Let me check if 10 a.m. Lisbon time is available for a callback. One moment, please. It looks like the 10 a.m. slot is already taken. I have openings at 10:30 a.m. or 11 a.m. Which works better for you?
Let's do 11 a.m.
All set, your callback is scheduled for next Friday, December 15th at 10:30 a.m. Lisbon time. We'll call you back at this number. Is there anything else I can help you with?
Can you check if I have any other meetings scheduled?
I found a couple of other meetings scheduled. You have 1. A call on December 11th at 12 p.m. Lisbon time. 2. Another meeting on December 12th at 10 a.m. Lisbon time. 3. And the one we just scheduled on December 15th at 10:30 a.m. Would you like to change or cancel any of those?
No, thank you. Talk to you soon.
You're welcome. Have a great day and talk to you soon.
As you can see, this is a pretty realistic voice system that you can sell for $5,000 or $6,000 to right customers, or you can sell small packages to smaller customers. If it's your first time here, my name is JD. I sold my first company, and now I'm spending my days building cool AI automations and AI products. So let's get started. To get started, you should go to the school community linked below. It's free until the end of the year, so just click the link to join, and you go to this page. You'll just have to join, and if you then go to our classroom, you'll find a section for templates, and in here you'll find the voice agent. So the first thing you want from here is the template, so you should download this. So download it, and once you download, you can now go to NA10. Let's create a new workflow, and let's just import from file, and just choose the file you just downloaded, and you'll get something like this. Don't get scared yet, this is simple. Let's just do all the configuration and then we'll go through it. Next thing you actually want to do is to go to call.com, and you want to create an account. This is the tool you're going to use to actually do the scheduling, so it manages the slots and all of that, and you can integrate even with Google, so you just need to create a free account to test this. And then we need a VAPI account. VAPIs actually are going to make our AI agents. So what we want to do is to create an account, and we'll be forward to something like this. And what we want to start by doing is creating an assistant. So you click here. In this case, I'm going to just create a new assistant. So you can do that by clicking here, create assistant. I'm just going to call it AI with JD. You can call it whatever you like. And I'm actually going to start with the blank template. And let's create this assistant. And we can now see the AI with JD assistant. So there are several options here, but just to start off, you can see how much it costs per minute, in this case 10 cents. You can see the latency, which is 1050 milliseconds, which is alright. And then we have several sections. The first one is the model. You can use whatever model you want. I've tested some, and the one I've been using is the mini cluster. It works just fine. Then you have an option to see if the assistant speaks first. In this case, I'm going to leave it at that. Almost always going to be the assistant speaking first, because either someone is calling you, in case you want to actually greet them so that they know there's someone speaking on the other side. And if you're calling someone, you also want to speak. So I'll just say, hello, I'm JD from AI with JD. How can I help you? So you can just start with something like this. And then we have our system prompt. This is a prompt that actually decides everything, and it's the AI part of the prompt. So if you want to follow along, I'm going to pretend to actually be an Apple refund agent. So you can just download here the prompt I gave it, which I'm not going to cover, but you can take a look at it here. So I'll just copy it, and I'll just take a look at the most important parts. So I just copied, and then I'm going to paste it here, and we can take just a quick look. We have the general assistant, your voice agent, custom support agent for Apple refunds assistance. You are speaking with the customer on the phone, and the phone number is automatically captured by the call. And we're getting the customer call number using this. And then we have the tasks. Answer questions about Apple refund policy, eligibility and process, help users understand the refund status and options. When user needs further assistance, schedule a callback or consultation, and use the caller phone number to look up, create, reschedule, or cancel callbacks. So we're actually going to use the client number to manage anything related to the meetings. We then give it some information so that it knows what date is now, because if we say next Monday, for example, the agent needs to know what now is so that he can schedule for next Monday. And then we start giving some information related to call.com. You don't actually need to know anything about this. You just need to then take a look at this tools section. So you can see we have some tools available. We have the file search. We have the check slots. We have the create meeting. We have the get bookings, the reschedule meeting, and lastly, the cancel meeting. Then there's some more information about everything related to the flows and some samples. So if you want to actually take a look at this, or if you want to generate something like this, you can actually use GPT or Cloud or other system and explain what you want your agent to do, and then you paste it here. But the most important section in this case are the tools section. Then we have this option to select files. These are the files that it's going to look into. In this case, we said it was an Apple Assistant, so we will need to give it the Apple refund policy, which I have here. So I'm just going to add a new file, select the Apple guidelines. I just copied from their website, and I click check, and this will add the file. Then we have some more configurations. We have the voice. We can choose your provider. I've worked with some. I like 11 Labs a lot. And then you choose a voice. For example, if I do this, I can just choose Sarah. Keep in mind that when you change, for example, I just changed this. In this case, it didn't change, but the latency or the cost might change. So let's add Sarah, and then we choose a model for the 11 Labs. I'm just going to leave it as is. Everything else we can sort of leave as is. You have some options. You can have a background sound. For example, you can pretend you are on an office. I'm just going to leave it empty. You have the transcriber. This is what's going to be used to actually transcribe the call. So let's say, for example, I want to transcribe on my native language, which is Portuguese. I would have to select a provider that supports Portuguese. In this case, it's an English example, so I'm just going to leave it as is and use their default systems. Then we get to the tools. This is actually the most important part of the setup, because it's how you're going to actually connect to call.com. So you can see I have a bunch of tools, but I'm going to create one of them so that you can see. I'll just go down and I'm going to create new tool. So to create a new tool, you just hit the create new tool. You click custom tool. You wait a moment, and then we have several configurations. We start with a name, a description of the tool. Then you have the parameters. So the idea behind this tool is you are actually going to call some sort of endpoint to do something, and you're going to use NA10 to actually deal with those endpoints. So you want to pass some parameters, and then you need to actually give it the server URL. To understand this better, let's look at our check slots. I'm just going to leave this series. We can see we have a tool named check slots, and you have the description. This tool queries the call.com API to retrieve available endpoint slots with a specified time range. Use it before creating a meeting to verify that the desired time is available. This is exactly what the tool does. And we can see it has the parameters of end and start. And then we have a server URL, which is our tool router. So we do the same for all the endpoints we have. So we have, for example, the create meetings, which has the name, the phone, the start, and then some other optional properties. And you can just create properties here. You choose the property name and the type, and that's it. I'm not going to change this. And then you can see again, we have the same webhook. And we do this for all the functions we need for our agent. So after those tools are created, we need to actually add them here. So I'm just going to add all of them. And I'm not going to add the sample one, but all of these ones. And now let's actually see what the tools are doing. So I'll just publish for now. I'll hit next. I add the call summary. You don't have to add anything, but you can just leave it as is. We'll do a next and a publish. And now our agent is live, but it will still fail to schedule meetings if you have not created your workflow. So I'm going to actually show you the workflow now. This is the full workflow. We start with the webhook itself. So we create a node of the type webhook. So you can see we have our URL here. After that, we have a router. And what this router does is actually go to our tool and check the type of tool. Okay, so what does this mean? If I go to VAPI and I go to my assistant, as we said before, we can see we are calling tools. So there we are, we have tools available. And this name is actually going to be passed to our NA10. whenever you have a tool that's being called, the N8N will receive that on the arguments and it will actually then decide which tool to use. So if I go to the sample flow that I ran before, we can see it received the call from the webhook. It then actually tried to compare the text with the correct tool, so it was trying to check if the cancel meeting was the same as the check slots, and it was not. It then did the same for the create meeting, and it just kept doing until eventually it got here, and we can check, and it says the cancel meeting is equal to cancel meeting. And since this is true, this is the path it's going to take, and it's going to go to the lookup for cancel. Okay, so what's this? This is the actually call.com part. What we're doing is actually using the call.com API to actually do all the operations. So if I go here, which is the API reference for the call.com, and I check bookings, we can see we have here the bookings endpoint, and we can actually check what arguments are needed for it. How can you give N8N access to our call.com? This is very simple. If you download the template, you'll see some errors on this. You'll need to actually click here. You need, even if it's selected, you probably need to click on generic credential type, then bearer auth, and lastly, you need to create a new credential. And you need this bearer token. How can you get it? You just go to call.com, settings, then you click on API keys, and you click add, name it, simple 2. You can actually do this if you don't want it to expire. I'm just going to leave it as is. And you save, and this will actually give you an API token. So what you do is copy this, paste it here. You can give it a name if you want. For example, I'm just going to call this to distinguish from the other ones. Save, and now if we go back, we can actually select this. For the followings, you actually just need to go here and just make sure you select the one you just created. So in this case, is this. The second thing you're going to need is to actually get the event types. So the way call.com works is you actually have events. In this case, events are kind of slots you're going to use to schedule meetings. So by default, you have this, and you can just click this start a meeting, for example, and you get this event type. Why is this important? When your assistant tries to actually book meetings, it needs to know the time slot that it's looking at. This is the way our agent knows it should schedule meetings of this type with this duration. So you just copy this number here, and then you need to go to the check time slots, and you need to change this event type ID to the number. In this case, I already have it. And you actually need to go to the create meeting and do the same here. So you open the JSON and you find the event type, which should be this one, and you just paste it here, and it should work for your event type. This is all you need in terms of configuration. And when you make a call, it's actually going to do the API request, and that is actually ours going to book it. Let's look at this cancellate event. So we got a request, and the request went to the tool router, and then went to the lookup for cancel. What's this doing? It's going to the bookings, and it's going to use the phone number as the main key for all of the meetings. So it's checking if there's a meeting for the phone number that was just passed, and all of this data comes here from the body. As you can see, then there's a result. In this case, it will show a status. In this case, it's success, and it just gives the data. Then it goes to an if. If a meeting was booked, so the length of the list is bigger than 0, it will actually cancel the meeting and then respond to the agent. If it does not find it, it will just cancel the agent, and that's the end of the flow. So we have one of these endpoints which you can look at your own. Each endpoint you have specific arguments it needs, and this is all passed by the tool to the webhook. That's the reason when you're configuring the tools, you need to actually tell them what arguments do you need. So for example, to cancel a meeting, we just need the phone. To reschedule a meeting, we need the phone and the new start time. To get the bookings, again, just need the phone. To create a meeting, you actually need the name, the phone, the start, and some optional fields. And to check the slots, you just need the end and start slot. So the flow actually goes like this. You call an agent, the agent tries to decide if there's information it can give to the client or if it should schedule a meeting. If it starts scheduling a meeting, it will actually ask the client for details. After it has all the details, it will try to actually find a slot, which is this first endpoint. So try to get a slot. If it does get a slot, it will respond to slot. If not, it will suggest two slots around the same time. After that, if the client accepts, it will just create a meeting and respond to the create meeting, and a new event will be created on the call.com. So let's actually take a look at this in action. I'm going to go to my phone for this. I'm going again to call. To actually see an example of this, we'll need to create a phone number. So you should be able to create some free phone numbers. So we can just create it. And then you can leave everything as is. You need to actually change anything. You just need to make sure the assistant you just created is the one from the phone number. So I'm going to choose this one. And now if I save, when I call this phone number, my agent will pick up. All this done, let's actually call it.
Hi, this is JD from AI with JD. How can I help you today?
I would like to know if I can refund an iPad I bought last year.
Refunds for Apple hardware, including iPads, are typically eligible if the purchase was made within 14 days. Since you mentioned you purchased the iPad last year, it's outside the standard return policy timeframe. If you're having issues with the device, let me know. There may be other support options available. Would you like to explore those or set up a callback to speak with a specialist?
Yes, let's actually schedule a meeting.
All right, I'll help you set that up. Can I get your name, please?
Yes, my name is John.
Thanks, John. Can you tell me briefly what the issue with your iPad is so I can note it for the callback?
Yes, it's just not working.
Got it, John. Now, what day and time works best for your callback?
Can you do Friday at 2 p.m.?
Sure, let me check if Friday at 2 p.m. is available. One moment. The 2 p.m. slot on Friday isn't available. I do have alternatives, 2:30 p.m. or 3 p.m. Which would you prefer?
Can you do 2:30?
You're all set, John. Your callback is scheduled for Friday at 2:30 p.m. We'll call you back at this number. Is there anything else I can help you with?
Yes, actually, can you schedule it for 4 p.m.?
Done, John. Your callback has been rescheduled to Friday at 4 p.m. We'll call you at this number. Let me know if there's anything else you'd like assistance with.
No, that's everything. Thank you. Talk to you soon.
You're welcome, John. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you on Friday. Take care.
So as you saw, the agent was actually doing a lot of stuff. We start by checking if we have the available time slot. Then it actually scheduled the meeting. So it went to the create meeting and respond with the actual meeting creation. And you saw on call.com that the original meeting was there. Then I asked it for another slot and it actually checked the slot. Immediately after that, it rescheduled the meeting. So it found the meeting and just changed it to be on a due date. And you can see here the final result where the meeting is actually scheduled. This is a system you can actually sell to either small clients by a small ticket price like $200-300, or you can just go after large companies and with some more configurations on VIP you actually can sell this for 4 or 5k. I hope this was interesting. If you want the templates and prompts, make sure to join my school community in the link below. It's free for now, so you just need to join it. And thanks for watching. See you soon.